Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday. I don't know what day it is. Probably doesn't matter all that much to you, but I just wanted to give you an update on the boat, the progress that I've made so far. I have managed to get a couple of the stringers out, 3 of 4, so the majority of them. And as you can tell, during the removal process, the rot gave way. I was able to retain most of the shape of this inboard. I think this was on the port side stringer, and I did my best to keep its shape so that way I can use it to mold the new ones. And I'm starting to think this is actually Doug fir, but I'm not positive. I'll get an estimate on the oak and see if it's worth the extra money. It's going to be a lot of feet. I think this is about 14 feet long. Here is the outboard stringer. This one came out much more smoothly because after hacking away at the inboard one, I settled on a process to remove it without cutting the bottom of it. So I used the oscillating tool to cut underneath the inboard one, and that kind of just chewed everything up and led me to put a hole in the boat, which I will show you now. Well, everyone, I did it. My first official one, and I'm not happy about it, but it's probably not going to be the last. Sucks. I was actually trying to get the stringers out. I was on my first pass and just kind of working out how to do it. You can tell where the multi-tool is. I was trying to do a back cut on the back side and it just fell right through. So I got maybe 6 inches of stringer freed up on 1 of 4, and that's where we're at right now, and never again. This one, I managed to pry it up, so these stringers were only held in with glue, just like regular old wood glue, I think, or some kind of adhesive, but it wasn't very thick and was pretty easy to pry up. There's 1 stringer left in the boat, the third one, which was the other inboard, just disintegrated. So it was not salvageable. And so here's, you can tell because of the junk, but here's the last stringer that needs to come out. And I'm going to try and record that. And hopefully it comes out smoothly because I didn't find any stringer removal processes for on YouTube. And I'd like to put it up just in case anybody else wants to work on their boat and do the same thing. Okay, so now that we've got the inboard fiberglass removed down to the seam, I'll show you a little bit of the detailed look at it as to how I ended up here, how I punched a hole in the last one, and why this at least works or at least it works 1/3 of the time. Going for 50% here, so pardon the jar. So right here, here's the inboard side, here's the outboard side, that way is forward. The way the stringers were set in, there's 1 fiberglass piece that's epoxied in, up and over the stringer. Outboard side though, and you can see the line right there is where it got cut, and that was only 1 sheet of 1708 thick. On this side, it is it's level epoxy, so they put a piece of fiberglass over and then epoxied it and then basically filled in, I think it's about 1 inch wide, so as the hull comes up, this is all epoxy and it's just not going anywhere. So we'll figure out how to get that out after we get the transom rebuilt. But so starting on the inboard side, and this is the way it was for every single one of them, and this one Probably not so much on the outboard side, but there is still a seam here where they epoxied in. So cutting here made it, was the easiest cut possible. So what I'm gonna do next is go back aft and then pry the very back end up, the very aft end up of this stringer with a pry bar or chisel, break the glue tension that's under there, and then basically put a chisel in, work it up a little bit, then put another chisel or a pry bar in, and then just slowly work the way the entire length of the stringer. And that should, in theory, if it would like to work properly, as it did on one of them, free up everything in here without having to cut underneath the stringer. And that will preserve the shape and the angle, which I'll need, which will be very helpful when the replacements need to come in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do that. Hello everybody, it's end of day Saturday, and I want to show for you the progress we made on the boat. Here are the stringers removed, completely rotted, or mostly rotted. Keeping them for now just to get the shape, and then I will have to reconstruct them based on the dimensions that I have here. And it looks daunting, but when they discovered Lucy, the primate, they put together a whole species based on like a knuckle bone and a femur. So I think this is doable. Here is the boat. I had to bring the whole superstructure forward by about 4 feet in order to get access to the transom. This is my second take in the video, by the way, because my beard was all screwed up and I didn't want to offend you guys. But on the first go around, I found that hornet's nest, which is dead, I think. I haven't seen anything climb out of it yet. We'll knock that off. So here's the underside. Here's some more wood that's going to have to come out. But the rubber bumper came off all right, as did the screws that held the superstructure to the hull. We got it jacked up right here on some plywood and some 2x4, both forward and aft. And as we work our way back, I'll show you some other progress today. Never mind that mess of the bicycles. I got bigger problems with this boat. So I removed there was a fairing right here. All right, future Jason, just want to point out something that you need to know for the future. You'll observe that this top cap transom piece is against this actual transom of the hull. And if you barely space out a gap, you'll have room for this bracket. And then this cover that goes all the way around it will sit on the outside of that. And I'll get some actual measurements here later. And that's just dead center line. Should be pretty easy to find. And then same thing over here. Oh, no wonder it's fucking rotting through. There's a screw missing there. And here. Where the screws are missing. There's a drainage. I guess that's it. And these screws right here. They gotta be. What is that? 3 mil? No, not 3 mil. Obviously not. 10. 8. 8 mil. We'll go with 8 mil. Remember that shit, bro. And you can see it like runs all the way the length of the boat. It frames it out. And that U shape was exactly where all the rot was. So some of these screws were missing and never plugged up. Also, the holes for the engine mounting brackets themselves are pretty rough. Also, someone installed a fish finder, a depth finder right here at some point, and then didn't plug it up. And so there's another source of water. This is where it all came from. So is that going to come out? It is not. But there is the transom, mostly gutted. There is still a bunch left in that gap, but I had to call it a day just to get rid of and haul the trash that I've generated from this project so far. Here's the stuff that's coming out of it, and that isn't even wood anymore. That's soil, pretty much. But if you look forward, you can see that the starboard and port side stringers are out. And aside from doing the detail work on this transom, all I have left to do now is to smooth out the hull and prep that surface for some new stringers to go in. Of course, I gotta cut those stringers or whatever, but that sounds like future Jason's problem. Current Jason is gonna wrap this video up, post it online, and then drink a beer. So I spent like 9 hours today in a ventilator mask and a full overall suit with a hood on, keep myself safe from the fiberglass. So I need some hydration and some rest. I'm gonna go hang out with my cat. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good night, and I will see you soon.